Okay. I've been processing all of this OP stuff, and I'm at the point where I think their type of me is actually dead on. I'm still gonna, think about it and, be open to seeing where it's off, and I still don't know about the extroverted decider, the FE, if that's feminine. It really seems masculine to me, but they are the experts, so I was wrong about so much. I'll just go with what they got. But I guess let me start with explaining why I'm not seeing blast play saviors. Uh, that was the first. I got the functions right, and the modalities were, ambiguous, I guess, to them in part, in the sensory part at least. Because I didn't really get into, I guess, enough with them about that stuff, but through email exchange after I got my type with them, I sent a few emails back and forth explaining some stuff that maybe they didn't see and I didn't talk about. And Dave was convinced from that I am masculine sensory, so MF. That was the easy part. That makes sense. I mean the F in the whatever. Um, I'm rambling. Sorry about that. So I was thinking. I'm convinced. I was convinced. Let's say I was convinced I'm sleep consumed because 90% of my day I'm in my head, not out in the world. I don't talk to people that much, hardly at all. I avoid it, and all that's I've mentioned. I have social anxiety, and that has a lot to do with that. But so when they were talking in their audio clips about all of this blast play energy they were seeing in me, I'm just like, I don't understand how they're seeing any of that. I don't feel like I do any blast or play, hardly at all. I didn't even understand the concept of play. People talking back and forth like that without stopping and thinking, and you know, I don't ever do that. So it's like, how are they seeing? And then I thought about a clip I'd seen. I don't even remember which video of theirs where they were talking about someone sleep talking, like they're speaking what would actually be sleep inside someone's head. And I thought, I'm in my head all the time. What the heck am I doing in there? And I'm like, oh shit. Everything I'm doing in my head, or a large portion of it, is blasting and playing, but it's all in here, not out in the real world. And I'm like, is that really what it is? Holy crap. And I just sort of play with that thought for a minute in my head, like, and then I instantly started catching myself doing that in my head. And I'm like, holy shit, that is exactly what I've done my whole life, is be in here, blasting, playing. It's like I've created this matrix world where it's safe, where I'm not in fear of, being attacked and being made to feel stupid. And so I'm doing all of that in here, and then I don't have any need to do it out in the real world, so I don't do it. And it's like, I don't know, I'm doing it all. It's like I'll speak what I'm thinking of speaking, but it's all in my head. And I guess I'm using introverted intuition. I'm like, okay, does that sound good? Will people think that? And probably a lot of the time I'm like, I don't think that sounds good. Don't say that. And I don't say it out loud. Or I'm, seeing myself playing, a conversation out. I'm not seeing both sides. I'm seeing my side. And I'm anticipating or imagining what the other person would say or think, I guess, or the point of it at least, not necessarily words. So it's not like I'm having a back and forth conversation with some make believe person in my head. That I'm just playing it out like a game of chess, like where you're like, I'll take this move, and then what will they do? Okay, they'll probably do this. I'm playing out every iteration of every conversation I ever want to have up here and not really actually ever doing them. So it's like, holy shit. And then in the past 10 years, when I've decided I wanted to try to work on this social anxiety stuff, I've slowly taken some of that out and let it happen in the real world instead of I'm always throwing up like barriers to prevent me from actually saying it, I guess, because it's like, okay, well that if I say this, it's going to go in this bad direction. And then I'll be made to feel stupid, or maybe I don't really know as much as I think I know. So I just don't end up saying anything most of the time. Everyone who knows me would say he's that quiet guy, he never says much, seems nice, but hard to get to know him. So I was seeing myself as TI-NI, sleep consume. I didn't see blast and play at all, but blast maybe before play. Because all of my life I'm in here, and I was interpreting all of that stuff I'm doing up here as sleep, not play at all, or blast. Very little. I gotta go get that alarm. Okay, sorry about that. That was my daughter's feeding tube going off. I had to go turn that alarm off. I'm just gonna leave all this crap in here. I'm not gonna edit. So that explains why I'm seeing. And if anyone who typed me was seeing sleep consume, that makes perfect sense because that's exactly how I see it. Because all of that blast and play is happening up here, and I'm just working on trying to get it out. It's bizarre to me that that's actually savior stuff, but I guess the social anxiety pushed it all in here, and I do it all the time. I burn out any of that energy, and then I don't need to do it out in the real world. So that makes perfect sense to me. Once the thought came into my head and I like lived with it for a moment and thought about it and then caught myself doing it, it's like, holy shit, this is for real. So I guess I was seeing the TI because I guess in some part I see it as me, and I'm 50 years old. I just turned 50 during this stupid quarantine, and as far back as I can remember, this is how I've been. So my social anxiety started really young, and it just got worse and worse, and then I got to a point where I realized I can do something about it, and I want to do something about it, so I started working on that. And I still got a long way to go, but so I think my type, whatever, INFJ, apparently, blast play, I think at the time I grew up and in the family I had, we were in a religious cult, fundamentalist, a little boy with that type apparently was probably like, something's wrong with this kid, he shouldn't be acting like this. My family treated me that way, everyone. So like when I'm blasting and playing, I guess as a kid, I'm getting tribe hate, like what, they didn't like it. And I quickly must have learned how I'm being when I'm being just my authentic self is not acceptable by anybody, or very few. I had a couple of friends growing up. I mean, it was a small community anyway, so it was like you have a finite number of people you could connect with. So I had a couple of friends, and they were cool with me being me, but most people weren't. And I think I just quickly learned I'm doing all this blast play up here instead of out here because people hate me already, and it's too much effort to try to get them to like me. So I'll just be up here and I'm fine. Have a couple of friends. And it got worse and worse, the social anxiety. I got to the point where I was just like, I hate all people. I don't want to interact with anyone. I had my wife and my daughter and, a couple people in the family I was close to. But that was kind of it for a long time. And people at work I was okay with. My boss is really great, so that relationship's always been fine. I'm in a computer programming job, so I'm in my head all the time anyway. it's NT kind of stuff, so it makes sense I saw myself as NT. I've been at my job, it's coming up on 25 years in July. So it makes perfect sense that I was seeing myself the way I was, at least to me. And it's a bizarre realization, I guess, that the FE and the SE are double activated. So I should be able to put some effort into them and be okay at them. I don't really know how to do them well because I've never used them out in the real world much. And the blast and play, it's like apparently they're saviors, but I've been doing them all in my head, so I'm not even sure how to do them in the real world. It doesn't seem like I'm that good at them when I do it. But then the TI is apparently a demon, and I feel like I'm fine with that one. And sleep and consume, I feel like I'm really good at those. I do them all the time. So I'm not going to put much effort into them, at least at this point. I need to figure out these saviors somehow. Which hopefully this channel will help me with that. I definitely, in the last couple of years, realized that speaking the things I'm thinking out loud, even like just to my wife or even to myself, is really helpful because it's like I'm taking the thoughts, putting them into actual words that I can hear, and it kind of does something different when you actually hear the thoughts and the words out loud. You can see different angles, different perspectives that you can't really see when it's just in your head. So that is something I've learned recently. So it's definitely something I've been pushing myself to do more of, and even to kind of write down thoughts. So all of that should make a lot of sense. Hopefully, when you think about it, hopefully people listening will say that makes sense to them. The feelings part, though, every YouTuber who's an INFJ that I've spent any time watching seems to be way more in touch with their feelings than I am. And I did learn in the past 8 months, I guess now, that I have something called alexithymia, which I've mentioned on the Facebook groups a lot. And I did a video on my channel here that is about that. The audio quality sucks. I'm working on all that, trying to get this channel a little bit better in all those regards. But it's emotional blindness. It's basically, I don't see my own emotions. I don't label them. I don't save them in memory to be recalled later on. So I think I can easily see what the emotions of people around me are. I do it constantly. I can't shut it off, and it's overwhelming most of the time. But I don't see them in myself at all, which that's made it very hard to connect with people. So I'm sure that plays into this a lot as well, because it's like I see people getting to know each other, bonding, becoming close, all over the place all the time, and emotions are a big part of that. I see that, I know that, I understand that, but I can't do that. Or at least I don't see that I can do that. I'm sure that people looking at me, witnessing me, seeing me in the world would never think that guy has no emotions. Although I'm sure everyone who knows me thinks my emotions are pretty level most of the time. I can laugh at jokes, very few, but I have a tiny sense of humor. So people will see that and maybe a little bit of frustration once in a while, but my emotions are very stable and balanced, and no real big highs and no real big lows. It's like I just bounce right back to the baseline fairly fast and easily. So I'm trying to think if any part of this whole thing doesn't make much sense. I mean, it makes sense that I'm not seeing the feelings as strong in me as in anybody else. Double activated FE, so I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the negative aspects of that, having that. And the NI, I guess, is playing out all of these, chess moves in the real world, and I'm spending like all of my time thinking about, how to play out in the real world, and then I don't do it. So I'm not seeing a lot of the positives that maybe people that don't have alexithymia, this emotional blindness thing. If you don't have it, it's probably easier to see emotions in yourself. Well, I'm sure it is, but and I'm sure that that helps then in building relationships with people. So I can't think if there's anything else I could say about my type now. I guess that's it. Anybody have any questions? Leave comments. Let me know. I'll try to address anything. So I'm gonna keep this channel going. Obviously, I have demons, and I'm gonna be working on. For me, these saviors are actually like demons for me. So, like they're my savior demons. I don't know what you're gonna call them, but we'll see. I'm gonna work on them, and it, since they're saviors, and I haven't really used them much. Hopefully, I can have a easy enough time with it. I don't expect it to be easy. I don't know what else to say. Comment. Let me know what you're thinking, thoughts, whatever. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna start doing some chats with people to talk about our demons, work on them. That's what this channel is gonna be for. I'm gonna hopefully go on other people's channels and things if I get invited. I have one planned later today with someone, and I'm sure we'll both post links to that. We're gonna post it on both of our channels. That's it. I'll cut it short there. Take care. Bye bye.